As we've been telling you all morning long, a Manhattan grand jury has voted to indict former President Donald Trump on criminal charges. It is the first time in U.S. history that a current or former president has been indicted, but that is not the only legal trouble the former president is facing. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane is in our Washington newsroom with more on this. Scott, good morning.
Hey, Vlad, good morning to you. One of the other major probes is the unprecedented federal investigation led by a special counsel appointed by the U.S. Attorney General.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
2 years after the January 6th attack, a federal grand jury in Washington investigating attempts to overturn the 2020 election appears to be picking up steam, interviewing key members of the Trump inner circle and now setting its sights on an interview with Trump's former vice president, Mike Pence. Testimony which a federal judge this week determined will be allowed to happen, denying Trump's claim of executive privilege.
I have nothing to hide.
Special counsel Jack Smith, appointed last year to lead the probe, is also investigating the records marked classified that were seized from Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate last August and possible obstruction by Trump of that investigation. Meanwhile, in Georgia, where Trump made this infamous post-election phone call to Georgia's Secretary of State.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
A special grand jury concluded an 8-month investigation of alleged efforts to overturn that state's 2020 election results, hearing from some of Trump's closest allies and recommending indictments of multiple undisclosed people. On the campaign trail, Trump has remained defiant, attacking the investigations as witch hunts.
They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I'm just standing in their way.
In addition to the criminal investigations, Trump also faces a civil lawsuit in New York over his business practices. All of this unprecedented, both for a former president and for a current presidential candidate. Vlad, Anne-Marie.
So, Scott, as you know, news broke this morning as lawmakers were leaving town. Well, it broke last night, but perhaps they are reacting to it this morning. So what have they said to you?
Some of this is quite predictable because this indictment was anticipated and members of Congress have been airing their opinions even before the news. Republicans in the U.S. House have been particularly vitriolic in supporting the president and attacking this prosecution by the Manhattan District Attorney, calling it political, saying it doesn't pass the smell test. It may be an effort to try to dethrone a likely nominee from the Republican Party next year. Democrats have said almost to a person that this is how the system works. No one's above the law. We have to wait to see what the charges are and see how the former president defends himself. But there is a more interesting difference in how House Republican leaders and Senate Republican leaders are reacting. We're hearing all of this vocal championing of Donald Trump from House Republican leaders. We are hearing nothing from Senate Republican leadership, including Mitch McConnell. At least not yet.
That is interesting. So to your point there about House Republicans championing the former president and criticizing this decision to move forward with an indictment, some even calling for the investigator to be investigated. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg responded to a letter from Republicans this morning. What can you tell us about that?
He sure did. The House Judiciary, Oversight, and Administration Committees have all questioned Alvin Bragg, asked him to come here to testify and share what he knows and what he has on this prosecution. In response to that request, Alvin Bragg not only did his office defend its work and say that Congress is overreaching, but said Congress, Anne-Marie, might be better off using its platform and its resources to denounce Donald Trump's rhetoric toward Alvin Bragg, saying that his promise of death and destruction if he were to be prosecuted and his talk about protest in the street might be dangerous and might be targeted towards Alvin Bragg. So the Manhattan's DA's office is telling Congress, perhaps use your megaphone to tell Donald Trump to tamp down his rhetoric.
The other thing, Scott, while we're talking about Alvin Bragg, is you've seen a number of politicians making reference to the fact that Mr. Bragg was backed by George Soros. And for a lot of people, that is a dog whistle for anti-Semitism. In fact, Soros has given an interview recently, I believe, where he says that he doesn't know Alvin Bragg and did not donate directly to him, although he may have donated funds to organizations or justice groups that then proceeded to donate to Bragg, right?
And it's not just that Soros' name is being invoked in the criticism of this prosecution. It's that George Soros' name is being invoked again to question a prosecution. This has been something we hear frequently from some of the January 6 defendants, their supporters, and their sympathizers, accusing the prosecution of the most filmed, photographed, and watched crime potentially in U.S. history as being some George Soros-inspired witch hunt. This is a growing issue and a growing concern, and it transcends what's been said in the last few days just in Manhattan.
Before we let you go, we've been talking about the security in Manhattan around the courthouse. What about Capitol Hill?
Yeah, there's a concern about that as well, and there's been a concern about that ever since January 6th. But the top Democrat on the House committee that oversees the Capitol budget says if Donald Trump's going to be the nominee in 2024, and if this prosecution is going to be underway, the U.S. Capitol Police will need more resources because it adds a toxicity to the political environment. It could inspire more threats and more targeting. The Capitol Police, Anne-Marie, are going to ask for a 14% budget increase to $840 million for 2024, and it's quite possible they get every penny of it.
Scott, thank you very much.